Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth. Hello, folks. Welcome to Homo Politicus, in which we look at the Nigerian Federation, look at the issues thrown up by the same federation, and we interrogate such issues. Today, tension in Rivers State political logjam doused. Would peace return there? You know, to say that the political leadership and everyday townsfolk has known peace for weeks now in Rivers State is a gross understatement. The political axe to grind in the famed treasure base of the nation is such that individual groups in the state have canvassed strong personal opinions which have further incensed the atmosphere. We now know that the presidency has waded into the matter. We do also know that in politics, when you open a quarrel between the past and the present, much of the future is lost. Yet we have been warned by the American political lobbyist and advisor Jack Valenti. He said, let me quote, "In a political struggle, never get personal, else the dagger digs too deep," end quote. Again, it is said that when you bury the hatchet in politics, you do so with a handle. Will the peace deal in Rivers State endure? The next few days would tell. Let's quickly meet our discussants. Tochukwu Izukama, he is here. He is a town planner, a biographer, and a national affairs commentator. I greet you. Tochukwu, welcome.
Good afternoon, Jones. Thank you for having me.
We are also joined by Akin Fatunke, chartered accountant and political commentator. I greet you.
Thank you very much, Jones. It's nice to be here.
There's also Emeka Madunagu. Emeka is professionally a journalist, but he finds time to discuss Nigeria. And why not? Emeka, welcome.
Thank you very much. Good day.
Yeah, folks, Rivers State on our mind. The presidency held a closed-door meeting with the who in the politics of Rivers some time ago, and resolutions meant at dousing tension were reached. So we look at the resolutions one after the other. This is without prejudice to what you already know. Number one, all matters instituted in the court by the Rivers State governor should be dropped. Tochukwu.
Well, let me say that I read through these resolutions and I didn't consider it, I don't think it will in any way bring a lasting peace. I think it's too lopsided. It's too skewed against the governor.
No, but did you hear me?
Yes.
That one term was remove all cases in court, at least as a way of dousing tension.
I think it would be a terrible mistake on the part of the governor to do that.
Okay.
It's not in the interest of FUBRA to do that.
All right. Fatunke, leadership of the Rivers State House of Assembly, as led by Right Honorable Martin Amewule, shall be recognized along the 27 members who resigned from the PDP.
Without necessarily making an attempt to be sanguine, I will nonetheless say that these are wishful thinking. Nice on paper. Whether, de facto it will hold is another thing. So I say it's a statement, it's a dream, statement of intention. I hope it will have sale. And it can only have sale when the people that are involved come, come really down and say, like Professor Akinwumi of Better Memory said, yes, I think we are recalcitrant children. We accept that we have done wrong and we take our rightful position. Unless if that is done, I would say, non sequitur, logical fallacy that can follow. But we say, let's wait and see.
Okay. Adopt a look-see attitude. Emeka, the remuneration and benefits of all members of the Rivers State House of Assembly and their members, must be reinstated immediately, and the government shall not henceforth interfere with the full funding of the House.
That is very strange to the Constitution. Mr. Femi Falana, SAN, has said that you cannot override the Constitution with political considerations. That these people have voluntarily abandoned the mandates freely given to them by the people of Rivers State. So when you talk about reinstating them, it is as if there is a ploy to undermine the Constitution, and that is unacceptable. So all they have to do is to vacate their seats. That's what remains. The governor didn't remove them. He never stopped them from sitting. But on their own, they decided to drop their mandate because they didn't believe that the mandate given to them by the people of Rivers State was a sacred one. And so they just sacrifice it on the altar of political expediency, and which is the situation they found themselves.
Yeah, Tochukwu, resolution number 4 is the House of Assembly members shall choose where they want to sit and conduct their legislative business without interference and hindrance by the executive arm.
Technically, that's what it should be. I mean, like they tell us in the church that the church is made up of the individuals, not the edifice. So the House, the members of assembly, the assembly actually should be made up of the individuals, not the edifice. So you can choose, the edifice is demolished, so you can choose actually to sit anywhere else. But the question is, when you brought in the 27 members who defected,
All 26.
26, and the 5 that are remaining, then the majority is there already. So it is the majority that will decide where the meetings will take place. So you are invariably empowering those that have renounced their position, but that is they have abdicated the moral authority given to them by the people of the state who elected them, and should be out of that place in the first place. There should be new elections. So that's why I keep hammering that this so-called resolution is too lopsided. It just empowered the troublemakers, those that should be out of the House and where there should be new elections. Nobody's considering all that, but just empowering the recalcitrant members of the House. So what technically it's right, they should sit wherever they want to sit. Yeah.
Aki, the state governor, Sir Fubara, shall represent the state budget to a properly constituted River State House of Assembly. Right, wrong?
What is now properly constituted? And if 26 members voluntarily gave their reasons why they had to leave, and then leaving 5, so the remaining 5 now becomes majority again, and non-sequitur fallacies, so to speak. But Senator Jones, I like to draw some wisdom here. You remember the tale in the book of history. I take it as a book of history. I'm talking of the Bible, and I respect the Christian folk. When Jesus was talking about the prodigal son. Now, the remaining 99% of the children were left, and the guy now said, "Look, let me just go out there and go and look for this one child," who eventually came and then was accepted. Now, logically, could be asking the question, I mean, we have always been here. Why should you leave the interest of 99% and go for one? And it's quite instructive what the father said. Well, he has repented, he's going to come back, he remains my son. Because if I still leave him out there, we'll be winning the battle, we may be losing the war, and what have you. So my thinking is that political sagacity needs to come into being. I like Tochukwu's earlier point about that we must make sure we follow strictly rules and ambience of the law, and Emeka too supported that. But let me be bold to say that law is made for
man.
and man not made for law. As long as we allow justice, as long as we allow equity to be, Tochukwu said that it was a lopsided kind of agreement. If something is lopsided, I would rather even say that
He's going to tell us about the other side.
Is a most unreasonable idea. Say, with due respect, for you to just take a decision and then skew it so unwholesomely on one side. You're not looking for justice. So I dare say, for me, let's continue to watch in the next few days. We have a piece of a graveyard, absolutely no doubt about that. And we also have a balance of terror. We don't always going to fire the first bullet. And whoever fires the first bullet will detonate the atomic bomb.
All right.
We need to be very, 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 very careful, one, and two, we need to look for equity, we need to look for justice, we need to look for fair play.
Okay. Emeka, another resolution. The names of all commissioners in the State Executive Council who resigned should be submitted to the House for approval.
Well, the governor of the state is Siminalayi Fubara, and he should not be treated like somebody in bondage, which is what this situation, tends to show. So to be saying that people who, look at that of the House of Assembly. These people not only abandoned their mandates, they said they are defected to APC. So it's not just about abandoning the mandate, it's also about defecting, which clearly there are decided cases of the Supreme Court on that matter. The law has what it has to say. So for the commissioners to resign, why will you bring them back? Why will you reward waywardness, quote unquote, in such a way that could put the state at risk?
Emeka, the Supreme Court had adjudicated on this. What has happened? Has there been any case of anybody being punished for defecting?
Well, there was a case of Johnson Abegunde, who was of Labour Party, Akure North South. The Supreme Court said he should refund all his allowances. He moved from the Labour Party to APC in 2015, and so the Supreme Court said he should refund all his allowances. All the allowances and salaries he earned as a member of the House of Representatives.
He did?
Well, if he did, I don't have the record personally.
All right.
But I do know that matter has been cited again and again and again, and to the extent that it's possible he did.
All right.
Well,
Was it Cross River? Yes.
Cross River State.
Yes, 26 lawmakers or so.
And the court clearly said that, they were punished for it. In some other jurisdiction, the court didn't do anything. So Citizen Jones may be right to ask that question: what really is?
Yeah.
The receipt.
Because Akin, the thinking, my thinking is, we have developed this panache or penchant, as the French would say, for not punishing bad behavior. So it's become a way of life here.
The thing is that the Constitution has stipulations as to conditions to defect to another party. But these conditions were not met in the Rivers State. There must be division. There must be trouble within the party.
At the center?
At the center.
Yeah.
For such a defection to be understandable, to stand, yes. But in this case, there's no such division. So in that case, they should relinquish their seats. And new elections should be held.
Tochukwu, prima facie, there is no defection. And no two people can win an argument, remember? You think it's black and I think it's white, so we need an arbitration. We need somebody to now look at it objectively.
Yes.
Which, unfortunately, arbitration now is facing, when I say arbitration, I'm talking about the court system. I know that part of what the 26 said is that they didn't have a secretary.
Or something like that.
And that when things were going and falling aside, the PDP was not doing anything. So I think the court should, at the end of the day, judge. But I am skewed more to what you have said, my dear brother Tinubu, that it looks as if there's really no tension and there must be some tail wagging the dog somewhere. And they need to be punished if found that that is what has happened.
Okay then.
Yeah.
Okay then. The viewer will be reminded that he or she is watching Homo Politicus on Enterprise TV, and today we're looking at tension in Rivers State political logjam doused, with peace returned there. Tochukwu, let's look at resolution number 7. It says there shall be no caretaker committee for local governments. The dissolution of the local governments shall be null and void.
Then that's for the governors to decide. In most cases, not the presidency, because technically there should be local government elections, but most states have not been meeting that constitutional obligation. So some set up the caretaker committee, some appoint local government chairmen, and in some cases allow the elections to go through. But that should be the prerogative of the state executive, arm of the state executive, not to be determined by the minister for federal capital or the president. So it shouldn't be a part of this agreement in the first place. But I think they are...
Because Rivers State is a part of a whole.
Rivers State
Is a part of is a federating unit.
Yes. So you should be able to allow to do his own thing. I think he was talking about marginalization. I think the governor is being marginalized. And I think he was
by what?
Enslavement. I think this man is being enslaved. So
Enslaved?
by his master, his political or godfather. And this resolution for ostensibly to achieve peace is not helping the matter. It's sugarcoating a very terrible situation, a very bitter pill for the governor to swallow, you know. So I think it's all... But the thing is that the governor acts as the governor, but he has the people of Rivers State that should be factored into this whole resolution, and the people may not accept it. So in the final analysis, I see it unraveling, the peace resolution, and people going back to the trenches.
Okay. Aki, and the last but not the least resolution is all impeachment proceedings instituted against the governor by the House shall be dropped.
I would say that is common sense, that's emotional sense, coming under perhaps what you can describe as an unconstitutional document. I think that's just fair. I think it speaks to the fact that the governor remains a governor, whether what and all, the way he got there, and all that notwithstanding. I think that would have been the very first point. And I commend whoever have agreed that all opportunities of impeaching the governor within 6 months does not make sense, and it's the whole beginning of the acts of badness upon badness, going to pull down the State Assembly, you know, again, something that maybe 4 or 5 members of the House will present a budget that is signed the following day, December 14, illegalities upon illegalities. To me, I think if Mr. President had, even though unconstitutional, like we said, say, look, I want my first resolution, please allow this governor to go and govern his state. Please, I do not want any any iota of threat wanting to go and impeach or not impeach, I think that's in good stead, and it's an indirect way of an interpretation of the Constitution. You say it's too early, ladies and gentlemen. You shouldn't embark on this road to perdition. On a rather skewed common sense angle, this resolution sits very well with me. And I think this resolution should now be what similarly Fubara should take. Again, you stood to conquer every other cobwebs that might have been listed here and there. Take your time. You should not be imposed with dead woods, and you should not be in a position like Emeka was insinuating that they are going to be imposing people on you. Wait for 2, 3, 4, 5 months. If they do not fit in, please fire.
Okay. Okay.
Just fire them, and nothing is going to happen to you.
Okay. Emeka, I'm looking at taking an overview of the picture in Rivers State. Don't you think there's such a thing as a political solution coming in?
Yeah, I mean...
And if you think so, what shape should it take?
Yeah, of course, in politics there must be solutions to disputes, but I think the first political solution should be that Wike should hands off and allow the governor to settle down. Wike is just exhibiting, that dictatorial tendency as if he is the one who is the governor and not Siminalayi Fubara. And it just shows the kind of desperation that must be curbed so that our democracy doesn't collapse. Wike must step back and allow the governor and the lawmakers to sort themselves out. But as it has been alleged in some quarters that resolution was forged, that the governor's signature was forged, that it was lifted from the visitors' book, that the governor usually signs with a red biro, but this time you could see it was a blue
blue or black
that was used. So all of these things do not give this nation the image of a serious nation. It makes people laugh at us. And what is the problem? And what is the problem? One man's ambition.
Yeah.
To just, Wike's ambition to control the governor of the state. But what it also shows is that Wike is not such a very good strategist. You don't upend what you claim, the structure you claim to have built. This man still has a case at the Supreme Court. Now, if you're thinking that Tonye Cole, for instance, will upstage him at the Supreme Court, Tonye Cole is not in your pocket. Tonye Cole is your opponent. If, let's say, maybe by some kind of design, Tonye Cole becomes the governor, things will even be worse. Because Tonye Cole will never go to Wike.
Yeah.
Then the other thing is that
it's expected that Tonye Cole has a godfather somewhere.
Of course, APC in Rivers State is also in the turmoil. APC in Rivers State is divided. And some politicians in APC have been warning Wike that APC has more dangerous politicians than PDP. That if you think...
In Rivers State?
Yeah, in national. That if you think that you are betrayed by Fubara, that you will even see worse betrayals in APC. So don't just think you can jump across to APC just like that. So I think Wike should not behave like a typical Nigerian politician who tries to overprice himself.
Yeah.
To overreach himself.
And Emeka, the fear is that Nigerian politicians are becoming Machiavellian, win by all and every means.
Yeah, but you see, it doesn't have democracy. Yes, they are so desperate Machiavellian, but at the end of the day, unwittingly, they upend all those their shenanigans.
Gentlemen, but we look at all the people present during the resolutions. the President, Commander-in-Chief Bola Tinubu, Vice President Kashim Shettima, Chief of Staff Femi Gbajabiamila, Deputy Governor of Rivers State, Professor Ngozi Odu, former Governor Peter Odile, the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, Fractional Chairman of the PDP in Rivers State, Aaron Chukwuemeka, APC Caretaker Chairman in Rivers State, Tony Okocha, and Barrister Nyesom Wike. We cannot say these gentlemen are paperweights.
They are not paperweights, but it's not balanced. You see, you need wanting to come to equity. Not only is it that your hands are clean, but you cannot do an appropriation and appropriation. For me, if you want to come to equity, it must be clean and very balanced. That was not balanced. I also think maybe supporting my friend Emeka. Yes, at the end of the day, there should be a political solution. But that political solution must be one that must be boldly asserted. And that assertion, I'm afraid I have to say, rests now with the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces. I'm talking of President Bola Tinubu. If Barrister Nyesom Wike has not so far read the handwriting on the wall, I think he needs not only to be checked behind the curtains, but beyond the curtains, he might have to be sacked. I know I'm sounding...
You're sounding off.
Yes, but if Nyesom Wike will not listen to the, let me say, voice of reason, even if you feel you're right, and you see all the tension already going on with a pin drop action that if you are not careful will erupt. I think President Bola Tinubu has to openly now say, giving it to you, if you are not doing, then you have to ship out. Pure and simple.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Okay.
let me just quickly chip in something. You are talking about heavyweights. The only three heavyweights there are Tinubu, Kashim Shettima, and Wike. Is it Tony Okocha who has been jumping from one place to the other, doing the bidding of Wike? He's a paperweight. What weight does he control in Rivers State? Is it the deputy governor? What weight does she control? Is it No Ribadu? No Ribadu that couldn't even win anything in Adamawa. He was just put there just for compensation. Is it Gbajabiamila? A lot of these people are just passengers in the political ship. So when you call them heavyweight, you are just
I said
turning them in.
I said they were not paperweights,
They have nothing to offer.
Okay,
Tony Okocha cannot even command the local government in Rivers State. If he can, let him come out and tell the people of Rivers State what he commands. He just well, by accident of history, Fubara has not been a politician. He was just there as a civil servant doing his normal job. Had it been that Fubara had some form of political tutelage before becoming governor, Wike will not be able to do this.
Well, he wouldn't have picked him in the first place. He was looking
No,
for-
that's what I said by some
He was
accident,
looking for
design,
man
yes.
handle. But I was looking at the rights, what Wike imposed on Fubara, and he boggled the mind. He was like he controlled everything. Appointed his ADC, chief of staffs, and
commissioners and so on.
commissioners, and out of the 16.
Allegedly.
Well, secondary information. We go by.
No, it's not allegedly.
There is no smoke without fire.
No, it's not allegedly.
There were
Wike
16
has come out to say clearly it's a structure that is in place in Rivers.
If I don't
It's
do
not a
it this
hidden
way,
thing.
I'll become irrelevant. It's
Yes,
the politics
yes.
of Rivers State.
That's rather
Of the
selfish.
16
Self-centered.
commissioners, he appointed 15. The governor cannot do anything or any contract more than 50 million. Wike has to decide. Everything is Wike. So it's like this man is there entrapped. And John F. Kennedy once said that in politics, nobody gets everything. And nobody gets nothing. Everybody gets something.
And I remember the words of the late Napoleon Bonaparte. He said, in politics, stupidity is not a handicap.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
Can I tell you something? Do you remember how Oshomole tried to
Muzzle.
muzzle Obaseki? See, let me tell you. You see, one of the things the governor could have...
Okay, you still are talking about godfatherism and so on.
Yes, one of the
But
things...
each time the godfathers go to the extreme, it backfires on
Yeah,
them.
you see.
It backfired on Oshomole.
Yeah.
It backfired on all Jews Okalo in both Abia and Imo State.
And
Under
don't forget-
Hakim and Oji, Kyodo Oji.
Don't
It backfired on Jim Wobodo.
This
in
backfired.
But Nwobodo's one was so bad.
Go to Obaseki, and Obaseki was now going to do things that were, I mean, obviously not
No,
looking.
do you know...
looking-
Let me...
So that at the end of the day, the political solution, like we said, I like to say that all stakeholders should please remember Kenny Rogers' song. He was talking about the gambler.
Yeah.
You got to know when to hold
Yeah.
on.
Know when to hold on.
And when
You
to
know when to
walk.
break. And when the deal is done, you know.
Akin, and we are told by those who know that the mark of the man is knowing when to apply the brakes.
That is true.
Wike,
And
I don't
Winston
see
Churchill
Wike
said,
applying the
I might have
brakes.
done wrong, I might have said wrong, but I changed my mind for the good of all.
But I
All right.
don't see we can applying the brakes. This-
even
this
some of the
will-
people with him will eventually abandon him.
Just a minute. Please, this is Homo Politicus on Enterprise TV here in Lagos, and we're looking at tension in River State political logjam seemingly doused. Would peace return there? And
How can peace return when you're telling a governor, okay, I believe all is fine, but you have 25 members of the assembly belonging to APC and 5 members belonging to PDP. The position of that governor is so precarious. So you can say, do not impeach him today, do not impeach him in 6 months' time. But what happens down the line? And the governor can never be at peace. So, and Wike is not backing up. So I don't see a political solution to this. The fighters will get back into the trenches and somebody is going to win or lose.
No, as of today, they had withdrawn the impeachment notice.
Yes, temporarily, but you still have 25 of them as members of APC and only 5 as members of PDP.
No, but
So-
you know the things that politicians, Nigerian politicians, have their own brand of mercantilism. Those lawmakers know that much as they may belong to Wike's camp, they have to survive. The funds have to keep rolling. They have to keep chopping. They have to keep feeding their
But the
constituents.
arrangement says you take your hands off the budget of the assembly. That's the one of the
Yeah,
resolutions.
so the trade-off will be that if I take my hands off the budget to the assembly, then the budget that I've passed, the budget I have presented and been passed, you will just pass it by. You will not even look into it. So at the end of the day, you may look at those resolutions that, of course, Wike has even shown his hand too much. So it will be very easy for Fubara to dismantle everything one after the other. Just sit down with these lawmakers and tell them, listen, look at what happened in Edo. You see those guys who are with Oshomole in Obasanjo's first term, they ended up being frustrated.
Yes.
Because what happened? They even brought some who were in their bed. It came in Nikas, with which they went to bed.
Please
And they swore them
don't
in.
let us forget the factor and the jury. The power of a governor is very enormous.
That is what I'm saying.
I also believe that it's better for you to stoop to conquer.
Which Fubara is doing?
I believe strongly that Fubara is not likely to be that fool per se as it's being portrayed. He wants his hands on the hip. And he will say, yes, I have accepted. Yeah, it's gone. 2 months, 3 months, 6 months time, I begin to assert. And when he begins that assertion, I tell you, no power. No power. No wicked power can take it out of this.
Gentlemen, let's ask this question once and for all and thrash it if we can. Is our problem in this country constitutional? Because River State is a metaphor for what's going on around the country.
Well,
Is our problem
our
constitutional?
problem is not constitutional, basically, because constitution has provided for checks and balances and all of that. But the nature of Nigerian constitution has put too much power in the hands of the executive. If you look at the constitution, the legislature comes first. So the legislature is supposed to be like a superintending authority. But the executive that dispenses the funds, you know, has that power. Now that's why people were advising the lawmakers in the 9th Assembly nationwide that look, if you want to assert yourselves, not just for yourselves but for the future, make sure that this legislative autonomy passes. Make sure it passes. You pass judicial autonomy, pass legislative autonomy at the state level so that you can call the bluff of any governor. But unfortunately, Nigerian politicians are generally known for expediency. They just want to chop for today.
So that bill didn't pass. It didn't pass.
It didn't pass.
So
even local government autonomy,
didn't pass.
Local government autonomy didn't pass. Now they are beginning to regret not passing those things.
Are you sure?
Look at what's happening in River State. Why would they need a resolution on the table of Tinubu?
When the constitution had already...
It shows that those lawmakers don't even understand how to play politics. They are amateurs in politics.
And so
I can teach them politics.
So our problem is human.
Yes, it's human.
Our problem is the fact that we don't have a sense of shame. We do not know that there is a point where we need to bar break, as they say, just continue to go. And our problem is greed. Even though citizen does, you know, when you have a lopsided constitution that I think we are operating now, we will have men and women of goodwill that can begin to, you know, to tinker with it. I mean, there are countries who don't have written constitution, but in our own case, I think we may be having strong men, strong women, stronger than the country. Strongly skewed against good morals and good ethics, and we need element of balance of terror by citizens now rising up and saying, no, it won't happen again. We are beginning to see snippets of that coming with the dual nationality within River State, and it's going to get to a time when the citizens of Nigeria are going to say, hey, wait, no. You've been swallowing us all this while. It's now around time to swallow the 20% in the Pareto analysis, 20% or less. You swallow you and nothing is going to happen. I hope sensibilities will prevail and we are made to do the right thing.
Yeah, like the two of you rightly stated, the problem of Nigeria is not constitutional. Our constitution can be criticized for so many reasons. But if the Nigerian politicians respect the constitution, irrespective of how badly written it is, Nigeria will be a more comfortable place, a much better place. If you don't rig elections anymore, the constitution didn't say rig elections, so that's a violation of the constitution. Don't steal money anymore. The constitution didn't say steal money. So the point is that we are a lawless society. And as far as I'm concerned, no matter how exquisitely a constitution is written,
makes you think we are living in Orwellian times. George Orwell, you know.
It's a pre-Stone Age kind of time where anything.
If you like, George Orwell's so-called Animal Farm. Yeah.
Hey, Hobbesian, where life is nasty, brutish and short.
So the thing is that no matter how well a constitution is written, as long as we retain the same mindset, the same attitude towards the law, which is disobeying every law, no constitution can work in Nigeria. So the issue is not constitutionalism with our constitution. We must change our mindset. We must learn to respect the law or nothing will happen. Nothing will change positively.
All right, so this is where we terminate the discussion. Of course, don't forget Homo Politicus, as I told you, continues to look at present-day Nigeria and the complexities of contemporary Nigeria. You know, so River State was our focus for today. And the debate may continue in your homes. We cannot but wish River State very well. Emeka Maduna, I thank you for coming.
Thank you very much. Yes.
Akin Fatunka, many thanks for your time.
Great pleasure.
Tochukwu, I thank you too.
You're welcome.
So our job is done. We should be back the next time. Bye-bye now. I am Citizen Jones Hussein. Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.